This is Menkari Australia. Breaking news.
This is a breaking news update from Menkari News. We're coming to you live from Sydney, where NSW Premier Chris Minns and NSW Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon are holding a press conference following the shocking Bondi massacre. Stay tuned as we cover key developments from this unfolding situation.
This Commissioner is joined by the Premier, Chris Minns, for an address. Let's listen in.
That police are there to protect them and they can go about their life. The type of atrocities we saw yesterday can't be tolerated, and it's not fair that any section of the community cannot go around their usual way of life. I understand, and the New South Wales Police understand, the fear that is currently within that community. And I think it's really important that we show the resolute support for the community so that they can go around their way of life. This morning I've had the opportunity to visit the families and the officers who were injured yesterday. Both sets of families are incredibly supportive of the support they are getting from the police family. One of the important things about this is the way that the New South Wales Police Force has come together to make sure that we support each other and support those brave officers who went forward yesterday. There are many, many stories of bravery from members of the community as well. And I really want to acknowledge the work that was done yesterday. We know that a number of people are alive now because of the actions of innocent bystanders, and I thank them for the work that they're doing. Our investigation under Operation ARCS is continuing. I'll only provide limited updates on that. What's really important is to say that we do have a 24-year-old male in the hospital at the moment. Based on his medical condition, it is likely that that person may face criminal charges. I'm very mindful of not prejudicing any prosecution of that person if they're put before the court. Very happy to take questions later on. Might hand over to the Premier. Can I just say I have reiterated this message several times in the past press conferences. This is a time for calm. Retribution or acts against any part of any community will not be accepted. We will have a significant policing presence. This is a time for the community to come together. This is a time that police will take action to make sure the community feels safe. This is not what we expect in New South Wales, these types of actions. What we saw yesterday is abhorrent. We have taken firm action. We are keen to make sure the community
This
now
is a
wins.
developing story.
Very happy to take questions later. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Thanks a lot for being here this afternoon. Obviously, a very trying day in Sydney. This morning, with the Treasurer and the Minister for Multiculturalism, I met with Jewish community leaders, spoke with several of them on the phone, and reiterated the public's unswerving support of that community during this incredibly dark hour, and to let them know that the people of Australia are behind them and are with them and are grieving with them today. This is a shocking act of violence, as we've said, and it needs to be met with an overwhelming government, community and police response. Operation Shelter will be overwhelming, and it may be inconvenient for people in the coming days, but we need to send a clear message to the people of this state and those in that affected community that have seen so much violence and damage, that New South Wales Police are there to protect them, to keep them safe, and that they've got every right to celebrate their faith and enjoy this festive period free from the profound worry and sadness associated with this horrible violence. There's a few things I'll just get to before I hand over to the Police Minister. A memorial site's been established at the rear of the Bondi Pavilion. I've noticed that people are already laying flowers at that site. We'd encourage members of the community to do that. It's encouraging to see record inquiries and massive lines at blood donation services across New South Wales. Please be patient if you'd like to make that act of civic duty, but it is warmly welcomed and it'll go to a good cause. It's something practical that you can do in response to this terrible act. The New South Wales Crisis Cabinet committee met last night. It'll meet again this afternoon and daily after that. National Cabinet's Crisis Committee meeting will meet as well this afternoon, and myself and the Police Commissioner will be on that with national security officials. We'll meet the National Security Committee this afternoon. We're urging people, if they have information or they'd like information, to contact the Public Information and Inquiry Centre. It's open and is operating 24/7 on 1-800 227 228. The Public Information and Inquiry Centre will answer general queries and also register people who are forced to leave personal possessions in the immediate vicinity that may be still under police protection or a police block. We know that there's cars, wallets and phones that are in that area. That's the number to call to retrieve your personal belongings. Operation Shelter, as the Police Commissioner has said, is up and operational, but that will be beefed up in the coming days. Bondi Beach, public school remains closed because of its proximity to the scene. School counselling services have been arranged at nearby public schools, and I understand that Premier's Department counsellors are on site with the vest if people need immediate emergency mental health support or counselling. They're working on setting up a static operation on site in Bondi if you need that help and support, as no doubt the community will. Having spoken to Jewish community leaders today, they're reeling and in crisis, and obviously many of them are incredibly distressed at what they've seen. Latest information is 15 innocent people are dead. One of the perpetrators is dead. 16 in total. 38 people remain in New South Wales hospitals being treated. And that's all I'll say right now. I'll hand over to the Police Minister.
Thanks so much, Premier. As the Premier just said, the Premier's counsellors are out on site, and I've just come back from Bondi, and I can honestly say how valuable their contribution is, stopping not only officers but just generally people who are out there, and they really are having a big impact. So important that we get that message out. If you need to speak to someone, we do actually have that operation out there. We've got experts out there wanting to help. Also out to see the police and to thank the police out there. We have police from commands right across
from the Metropolitan
Sydney out and Bondi at the moment, around that area. And again, like only too often, the police got a phone call this morning who were on today at 4:15 and were directed to go straight out there, and not a hesitation. No hesitation whatsoever. The Blue family is really all behind each other. They're behind the community, and they are only too happy to be of assistance in keeping our community safe. I spoke with some Jewish leaders out there. They were so thankful of the police and the work that they've been doing. As we well know, the relationship between the Jewish community and the New South Wales Police is strong, and they have been working hand in glove with CSG and our Jewish leaders for a couple of years now, given the circumstances that we have been in that community. I also just wanted to advise you that last night the Premier and I were over at Bondi. We went to the police station, and there were at least 50, 60 police officers there. Most of them weren't on duty. They just heard the event, put their uniform on, got in their car and drove to Bondi Police Station because they knew they'd be needed. We had them not just from their locals, as far as Newcastle, Sutherland, Western Sydney, you name it. The police here in New South Wales do a great job, and they're here to support each other, they're here to support our community, and we're very thankful for that.
Well, happy to take questions.
Commissioner, the ABC's reported that the young shooter was under investigation by ASIO, Islamic State terror group. Were any red flags raised within the police about his father's gun licence with 6 registered serious firearms, given they have no connection to the
I certainly can't talk about what information the Commonwealth may have had, but certainly in terms of a firearms licence, the Firearms Registry conduct a thorough examination of all applications to ensure a person is fit and proper to hold a firearms licence.
Does that include association with their family members?
It absolutely can, depending on the nature of the association, depending on the nature of the intelligence that's there. They have to weigh up all of those things in accordance with the Firearms Act.
How can gun law be changed? Premier, how can we change gun law so a man in suburbia doesn't have 6 licensed firearms? He's not a farmer after all.
Yeah, well, look, we're looking at that as we speak. I think it's time that we have a change to the law in relation to the firearms legislation in New South Wales, but I'm not ready to announce it today. We want to make sure that prospective reform and change in New South Wales has a lasting impact, but it's not the last time I'll be mentioning it, and you can expect action soon.
Why was he granted the firearms licence?
I can't answer that question.
Do we have that information?
because he met the eligibility criteria for a firearms licence. So the firearms licence was to be for a recreational hunting licence. There are two types of hunting licence, the ability to hunt on a property or also as part of a hunting club, so a gun club. He was a member of a gun club and was entitled, by nature of the Firearms Act, to have a firearms licence issued. Sorry, just one at a time, please. Pardon? I don't have those details with me at the moment.
What category of gun license did he hold? And is it different categories allow you to register different types of firearms?
He had a Category AB licence, which entitled him to have the long arms that he had as registered firearms.
Commissioner, does New South Wales firearms registry
From the Mankari News Australia newsroom, this is a developing story.
Depending on the nature of it, and as I said this morning, that's very much under investigation at the moment. We want to understand whether the person was, and certainly by criteria, he was eligible to hold a firearms licence. We do take into account all intelligence that's available. So, yes, we certainly do that.
Premier, do the New South Wales police have any discussion regarding their investigation into the 24-year-old individual?
We work very closely with all Commonwealth agencies. As I said, I'm not going to go into what information ASIO may have held. We will work closely with the Commonwealth.
Premier, do you have concerns that this might be a case of federal agencies not talking to New South Wales Police, and are you going to raise that concern this afternoon?
Look, I mean, I think it's reasonable in the circumstances to allow a full investigation and an inquiry to take place. There's a sequence here that's important. Firstly, community safety. Secondly, the investigation. There's an offender in custody. That prosecution is hugely important in terms of justice for the victims. And of course, a comprehensive investigation as to what went wrong. What could we do better? Is there better lines of communication? I'm not in a position now to criticise it, and I think it wouldn't be the right thing to do within 24 hours of this shocking, violent attack to be pronouncing failures here without the aid of an independent investigation. What I can promise is that's exactly what we will provide here in New South Wales. It's important that we get all the information on the table, and I want to make it clear we will act on those recommendations.
The Hanukkah event last night, is it true that high security there weren't allowed to hold firearms? And if so, can you explain why?
I don't know if that is the case. Happy to take that away and come back to you. They would have to be appropriately licensed to have those firearms. Sorry?
From the Mankari News Australia newsroom, this is a developing story.
Presence in the area at the time of the event, and how seriously did police take any security concerns?
Police always take safety personally. We're always mindful of community safety. There were active taskings for the local police area commander to be down there. In fact, the police area commander had been down there through the location. So it's one of those ones, we work closely with the security group, the Jewish security group, CSG, and then make sure that we have a policing presence that is there. I think what I can say, and the reassurance I can give the community, is the prompt response by police indicates very clearly that police take security safe.
When the first police shots were fired, how long did it go on for, when were the shootings?
No, I can't give you that right at the moment. That's obviously part of the investigation. What I have said is that there were police at the scene at the time. Police responded promptly. I think we have seen very clearly on footage the bravery of officers and members of the public who took very prompt action to resolve this matter.
How many police was
As I said, it was taskings, so police from the police area command and other police that we have within the metropolitan area will move around that event. So it's an active tasking to be around the event.
Well, on that point, just right about what the Treasurer is saying.
How many officers would be stationed at that event?
I don't have the exact number. As I said, they were tasking, so officers are continually going through that location. There were certainly officers there at the time when the incident occurred and responded very promptly. Look, I think in terms of the risk assessment, we certainly work closely with the Jewish community. I've made it really clear that there was no specific intelligence in relation to the incident itself. We responded very promptly.
From the Mankari News Australia newsroom, This is a developing story.
That's very much part of the investigation. At this stage, I'm not prepared to confirm any of that. Further information will be provided. I think I've also made it quite clear with a person who is currently in hospital at the moment who may well face criminal charges. It's important that I don't prejudice any prosecution.
How would you
Commissioner, what can you
describe the
tell us
police
about-
response, Commissioner? How would you describe the act of bravery of officers?
I think that's been really clear. I think anyone who has seen the footage will have seen police going forward to take positive action. It would have been an incredibly chaotic and terrifying scene, even for well-trained police officers. The fact that two persons had long arms and were indiscriminately firing them says that the act of bravery about going forward is something we should all celebrate. The police went forward, took very positive action, resolved the matter again with some outstanding bravery by members of the public.
Who's in charge of the investigation and how will it work and where will the case start?
There's several investigations underway at the moment. I spoke this morning. The Joint Counter-Terrorism investigation will be led by our Counter-Terrorism Command with our Commonwealth agencies. At the same time, there is a critical incident investigation because we know that police fired a number of shots which resulted in the death of a person and also the injury to a second offender. So there are a range of investigations underway at the moment.
Commissioner, what can you
I've
tell
heard
us?
saying that the police failed the Jewish community knowing it was the first day of Hanukkah.
Look, I respect the person having an opinion, but I've been really clear. Our police responded promptly. Our police respond very promptly. We work closely with the Jewish community. We are very attuned with providing support to the Jewish community.
Commissioner, what can you tell us about
and not private security or anyone else involved?
What I can say to you is that's currently part of the investigation. Obviously, that's something that will come through pathologist investigation, but also forensics and ballistics investigation. That is part of an active
Mankari
investigation.
News Australia newsroom. This is a developing story.
What evidence was
Last night, I declared a terrorist incident at 9:36 p.m. because I was satisfied, based on the circumstances, based on was located at the scene, based on the fact that it was the first day of Hanukkah and what appeared to be a deliberate shooting towards members of the Jewish community, that it was a terrorist act. I'm not going to go into individual pieces of evidence. They are subject to the investigation. I want to make sure that we do a very thorough and transparent investigation, which is what our police are doing at the moment.
Commissioner, were the gunmen Australian citizens? And if not, can you tell us how long they've been in Australia?
I'm not prepared to comment on that at the moment. That's all part of the
Is
investigation.
there anything more you know about the two shooters that you can divulge to us?
I divulged this morning that they are both a father and a son. They have obviously a connection for quite a period of time within Australia. The father has held a firearms licence since 2015. We are very much working through the background of both persons. At this stage, we know very little about them.
Has anything come
There's a lot of things on social media at the moment. No, that's part of the investigation. So you can imagine we have significant evidence that we're going through at the moment, whether it's CCTV, whether it's social media. We stood up Operation Shelter at the moment. They will actually scrape through social media as well as the investigators. We're keen to find out any evidence that may be available. If people do have information or evidence, we ask that they
From the
contact Crime
Mankari
Stoppers
News
on
Australia
1-800
newsroom.
333
This is a
000.
developing
We would
story.
like every bit of
Just
evidence.
a
Commissioner, in April,
okay.
Commissioner, in April of this year, your predecessor said that the relationship and information sharing between the Australian Federal Police and the New South Wales Police on counter-terrorism needed to be reviewed and improved. Since that time, how has that relationship improved, reviewed and improved?
I think both organisations work very closely together and very well. It is too premature in relation to this specific incident to talk about the information sharing. The Australian Federal Police and the New South Wales Police obviously work within joint counter-terrorism arrangements. We are committed as both agencies, and I've spoken to the Federal Police Commissioner, to make sure we work closely. Together, we keep the community safer. So I'm very confident that both agencies are working together.
Premier. We got this incident yesterday where the shooter had a gun license. John Evans, Jack Altus and neo-Nazi until recently had a gun license. Clearly, New South Wales has a checkered recent history with people with gun licenses committing criminal acts. Doesn't our gun registry rules need to change? What can we do now to ensure this doesn't happen again?
I mean, the short answer is yes. They need to change and they can change. It does require legislation. And it means introducing a bill to Parliament to be really blunt, make it more difficult to get these horrifying weapons that have no practical use in our community. If you're not a farmer, if you're not involved in agriculture, why do you need these massive weapons that put the public in danger and make life dangerous and difficult for New South Wales Police? So I understand, of course I understand the genuine desire to have information about how the law will change. We're less than 24 hours into this horrifying crime. I want to make sure that legislation and reform that we bring to Parliament makes a big difference, but that's exactly my intention, and my colleagues feel exactly the same way. James.
From the Minkari News Australia newsroom, this is a developing story.
Have a license, still need one, considering that we had a man in the
Yeah, I mean, that has been flagged by New South Wales Police as an issue because the granting of a firearms licence in perpetuity is clearly not fit for purpose when you consider that someone might have committed an offence, put themselves in a situation where they're considered by police vulnerable to a criminal act. We need to make sure the firearms legislation in New South Wales is fit for purpose. That does mean restricting firearms for the general public, for the people of New South Wales, but not everybody needs these weapons of mass destruction. You don't need them on New South Wales streets. So we will be looking at change. But I understand you want details. That's completely understandable. You're going to have to give me some time to get the legislation drafted so that we can do it in an appropriate way, in a way that will make a difference.
Will you consider recalling Parliament to
Yes.
Premier, can I ask, will the overpass be without the switch on the victims?
We're working with the Jewish community about appropriate reflections and memorials, and we'll have more to say about that soon. It may well be, but I'm not ready to announce it.
Will the government consider changes to these operations and consider online about potential additional violent events and commissioner is police aware of this threats?
Look, of course, that's a massive issue. New South Wales Police, the government, have turned our minds to those big celebrations, those iconic days in Sydney. But at the moment, our immediate focus is on this investigation and keeping the community of Bondi, Dover Heights safe.
Premier, are you aware, or Commissioner, any of you aware about a social media post circulating about a violent rally in Cronulla on the 27th of December?
Well, I'll answer and then throw to Mal. I mean, just say that will be met with the full force of the law. There will be no tolerance for any kind of retribution or some kind of vindictive counter assault on anyone in our community. We are not going to allow ever a situation where we descend into some kind of lawlessness. And if you are considering participating in something like that, you can expect a massive, overwhelming police response. It will not be tolerated. We need to appeal for calm. We need to be in a situation where we're saying to the people of New South Wales, this is a horrible event. You have to allow the communities in New South Wales to heal, to have some moment of reflection where they can mourn the loss of their loved ones. The last thing we need is a descent into vindictive violence, and we won't tolerate it in New South Wales. Mel?
Yeah, thanks, Premier. I'm actually aware of that social media post. One of the key roles of Operation Shelter is to make sure that we scrape intelligence, to make sure that we plan appropriate responses. So this will be an ongoing process. We will be looking for matters that we need to plan a police response about. Our focus is clear: to keep the community safe. If people think that they're going to engage in violence, they're wrong. The police will be there, the police will take appropriate action, and I want to make that really clear. Calm is what is required. Retribution is inappropriate. The community is in grief, the community is mourning. We need calm.
Thank you very much, everyone. Let's go.
Wire, powered by redmankari.com, where facts still matter and stories still mean something. If you believe in independent journalism with impact, hit subscribe and share this episode. Your support keeps truth alive.
Breaking. Verified. Australian. When the story breaks, we don't wait. We verify, explain, and bring you the facts straight from the source.
Now, Optus has clearly failed here. Optus have failed to put safety first.
Company Optus and its parent company Singtel offer commercial
discussions based as friends and trusting. And part of our discussions, informally as well as formally, has been
together. To be honest, so many countries that you wouldn't have even thought of it. They came together. The world has come together.
Now, we do need to draw a line in the sand when it comes to the protests that we continue to see in this country.
The Flash Wire is your rapid response breaking news podcast, a stripped down, adrenaline-paced bulletin that drops minutes after major stories break. It's designed for listeners who want accuracy and speed, not noise. Think of it as the audio equivalent of a newsroom's red alert light turning on. Each episode runs under 5 minutes, short enough to drop between scrolls, but packed with verified updates, eyewitness info, expert sound bites, and a forward look at what happens next. No spin, no filler, just what you need to know and what comes next.